r/true off my chest. I went driving drunk, and caused a car crash. This happened on the night of August 1st. For a bit of context, I, 26M, got home stressed and angry, drank the whiskey I had left in the bottle, I don't recall how much. A quarter? A third, and decided I needed to go to the store right now. I drove to the nearest one, it was closed, so I had to drive a bit further to a different one. I saw a traffic light jump from yellow to red, but I went full gas anyway. I hit the side of a crossing car. A police officer just told me the two women in the car are fine, thank God. Honestly, a miracle, because they were in a much more dangerous position than I was. They were probably in a better car than me. I drive a piece of crap without airbags and wasn't wearing my seat belt. I got wrapped around my dashboard, which I suppose is preferable to flying out the windshield, but I still got badly injured. My doctors told me it's a miracle I'm not paralyzed, or even alive. I'm typing this from the hospital. They didn't think it was necessary to handcuff me to my bed, I can't even sit up by myself anyway, lol. I don't know yet what will happen to me legally. I'm not sure why I'm posting this, honestly. I guess I just wanted to get it off my chest, which is what this sub is made for. I cope by talking about things, and it's a nice distraction. I feel so guilty about what happened. I could have easily killed innocent people. I can't stop replaying the image over and over again in my mind. Ask me anything, I suppose. Or insult me for being a reckless piece of shit, tell me you wish I had died in the accident and I would agree with you. Have a nice evening. My ex is telling people I sad him. Sorry if this is incomprehensible. This is all pretty fresh and I'm not the best with words. This is also my first post on Reddit, so forgive me if it seems a little wonky. My ex, 20M, and I, 19F, broke up about a month ago. For the sake of the story we'll call him Johnny. Johnny and I had dated for about a year and a half before I had finally gotten the courage to leave. Throughout our whole relationship he was emotionally and mentally abusive, and it had gotten to the point where everyone around me could see it. I was still making excuses for him, though. He tried to isolate me from my friends and family, and I was never allowed to do anything without him. We had to be on the phone 24/7 if we weren't together in person. I had to keep my location on at all times. He had my password to my phone and access to everything on it. Everything that was mine was his, but not everything that was his was mine as well. With the help of my best friend I wrote him a long message explaining all my thoughts and why I could no longer be with him. I blocked him on everything. He spent the next week and a half making new phone numbers, social medias, and emails trying to beg for me to come back. He would tell me that deep down I still loved him and I would come back if I knew what was good for me. It got so bad that he began to message my friends and family multiple times on multiple different platforms. After that week he finally gave up, and I didn't hear from him for a while. It was almost too good to be true. I found out from a friend that he had been making up lies about my character and telling our mutual friends things that didn't happen so that they would all side with him. Johnny was very sexually inappropriate during our relationship, even going so far as trying to initiate sex multiple times in the same room as his nieces, who are 10 and 7. I just got a text message from a mutual friend of ours saying they are no longer comfortable being friends with me because Johnny told them about how I had gone against his boundaries sexually and assaulted him, which couldn't be farther from the truth. There were multiple times where I was guilted into letting him have sex with me, but I kept quiet because I didn't want it to be a fight. He has always wanted to be the victim, but I never expected it to be this bad. I am so angry and hurt and I don't know where to go from here. I only ever wished him well. I am 20 years old and being forced to live in a third world nation. I am a 20-year-old male currently living in a festering dunghole that the global community has taken to calling Libya. I have lived in America most of my life, and graduated from high school there in 2022. I was a mediocre student who skated along the borders of borderline success and failure, oftentimes dipping below. As such, I had no scholarships, no grants, no accolades, I had nothing but nothing. Uncle Sam said he didn't need me after all, and it's just as well, because I wasn't accepted into any colleges. And so I decided to take a gap year and worked in retail while I pondered what it is I wanted to do with my life. I've always wanted to be a writer, but my parents are Middle Eastern and so the arts belong to some distant other world so far as they're concerned. And to give credit where credit is due, it is a difficult and unsteady path to pursue. And so I decided I would enroll in college after all, but always keep the writing dream close to my heart. I had at this point long since swallowed, chewed up, and spit out any foolish notions of academic pride and was gonna enroll myself in community college and transfer as soon as I could to a proper university. I guess there's still some residue wedged in between my teeth. I had my sights set on Houston Community College, with a hopeful transfer to the University of Houston, provided that the alien concept of hard work successfully mounted its full-scale invasion into my mind. I used to live in Texas and have good friends there. This will be important later on. Before I could set out on my new life course, I hit a snag. My parents told me that we needed to go to Libya, my birth country, for the summer and settle an inheritance dispute. They assured me that it was just to be a vacation, no returning to the roots over here, no sir. I was wary of their wordy wiles since they pulled this exact same stunt in 2019, and we almost ended up having to stay in that run-down excuse for a nation. Thankfully, sense made one of its exceedingly rare showings in my family and we went back. So we arrived in Libya and all seemed well for a while. Not the nice sort of well, where you can let go and unlax, like they say in the funny pages. No, as cliché as it is, this was the deadly calm before the storm, coming for my future and any hopes of happiness that came with it. Then it all started suddenly. My dad bought a car here and sold his old one in America. My aunties are chatting and gossiping up a storm about schools and streets and their reputations. My dad takes me to the hospital so he can get me an insulin card, never mind that I still had plenty stashed away. I saw it all coming from a light year away, but the barb stung no less. They intended to make me spend my youth here where they cut the power out even when the temperatures in Celsius are showing numbers that I've never seen centigrade approach in all my life. Here where at any moment the tenuous peace between the umpteen jackals all vying for a piece of the half-eaten dried out in the sun and thoroughly soaked with the spunk and excrement of foreign devil's pie will break their ceasefire and won't cease firing at each other for God knows how long. And through it all, they lie to my very face as if I'm too stupid to see their deception for what it is. And that is the crux of the matter, why I made this post. Not a life story, although I apologize if that's what it sort of became. I haven't had someone who speaks my language to talk to in so long, but an entreaty. I know that the fall semester for most institutions begins probably no later than September 10th, so I'm cutting it very fine right now. But is there still a chance that I could apply and be accepted? Would I have to enroll as an international, at which point I can throw in the towel and accept that my plans for the future have been hopelessly dashed? And most importantly of all, are there any schools in Houston still open to applications? All my friends live there, and I can't see myself living anywhere else. At the very least, within a reasonable distance to the city, if Houston and I are gonna have a problem. I don't want to have to work up the nerve and go through all the rigmarole and familial strife of leaving this country if I'm just gonna end up in a place I don't know with nobody there for me.